Jilitla, Mexico, 2007. Local residents report a fireball crash.
This Mexico case, they had these two police cars that apparently their radio communications failed.
According to multiple eyewitness reports, when the police arrived at the crash site, their radios suddenly stopped working. Could the alleged UFO crash they were investigating have been the cause of the radio malfunction?
Today I'm in Tyndall's lab. Tyndall's going to show us what might a UFO do to knock radios out.
So what I've done here is I've made a small scale high voltage chamber where we're going to create a similar atmosphere that you might find in an EMP type event.
An EMP is a high energy burst of magnetic energy. Tyndall has created a chamber filled with ionized argon gas. This chamber contains the same properties as the atmosphere would after an EMP event.
So this is an EMP chamber.
Basically, it will simulate why radio communication has such a hard time, bashing through that.
As electricity is fed through the chamber, the ionized argon gas inside allows the atmosphere to conduct a charge.
So let's try this clock radio. Okay, so that's the radio. You can hear the AM going.
Right.
All right, slowly start bringing it up. EMP event
At 50?
Now you can't hear any of the radio. Something else interesting happened. Did you see the 12?
Right.
It stopped flashing. Yeah. What that means is that it's actually affecting even the circuits inside there. It's so charged, that atmosphere.
If there was some sort of crashed UFO with high energy, it may have ionized the area, and those police cars with their radios would have been trying to communicate through ionized air.
Well, experiment number 2 would be, let's try a police walkie-talkie.
Okay.
Jeff is on one walkie-talkie, while the other is inside the EMP chamber. As Jeff counts to 10, what effect will the charged atmosphere have on their connection?
I'm on the back patio.
Yep.
Great, we can hear you.
Roger, I'm going to count back to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You guys hear me now? I'm going to count to 10.
There you go.
There it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
This is very common in UFO events. Communications being cut out.
I think people don't appreciate the fact that the atmosphere can have so many things happen to it. And we're simply removing electrons from some of the molecules and atoms and putting things out of balance, basically.
All of that evidence seems to agree with some sort of EMP event going on. Whether or not it came from a UFO, we don't know, but
It is pretty reasonable to think that if a highly energized object or vehicle came crashing through, that it could have caused a pretty large-scale ionization of the local area.
In 1956, a mysterious object is seen flying over 2 major military bases at speeds of up to 4,000 miles an hour. Before disappearing, the object was picked up by both of the military bases' radar systems. Was this an unidentified flying object, or was it simply a malfunction in the radar systems? The team is at John Tyndall's lab to find a solution.
We put together a demonstration of the 1956 Lakenheath incident. This is Lakenheath and Bentwaters. Basically, this is 60 miles or so between them.
UFO came actually north of Bentwaters. Bentwaters picks it up first. As it moves across here, Lakenheath picks it up. For a very brief period, both radars pick it up.
So any object that would be in here would be picked up on both.
Objects are noticed by radio waves being sent out from the radar. If an object is flying through the beam's path, the wave beam will bounce off the object and send the information back to the radar.
with radio waves, with radar, we know the speed that they travel at.
It hits an object, it comes back, and it measures the length of time it took for that to happen.
Did we have any technology that could go 4,000 miles an hour in 1956?
The fastest military jets didn't reach that speed.
No.
Now, the classic debunker argument was that this was a phantom radar image.
A phantom image is when the radar system picks up something that isn't there. The most common example being reflections from clouds.
I could see one set having some sort of anomaly or malfunction, but the fact that you're able to triangulate between these two different points, it seems rather compelling. Say, for instance, if you take this prism, one laser is going to hit this thing, and it's going to throw
An anomalous reading.
But this one's going to have a completely different reading.
To have these multiple redundant systems, independent of each other, providing the same tracking information of some object, it's almost impossible that that could be a phantom.
So what are you saying, Ted? We have a UFO?
It seems pretty clear to me, based on the evidence here, that there was some flying object moving across the tracking range of these radar systems.
That was never identified.
That was never identified.
British police officer Gary Heseltine, at age 15, experienced a UFO sighting that would change his life.
Tell me about your sighting when you were 15, because it's those kinds of sightings that really kind of burn into you, make that first impression, and change you.
I was 15 years old. It was the summer of 1975, and I was walking with my then girlfriend home. Suddenly, as we were walking along the path, we both very quickly become aware of a big, bright white light, and it's moving very slowly, very silently towards us. Once we were behind its flight path, all the area behind the flight path of the object was cut off. The power went off. You had a power failure. Object moves along very slowly. Second power failure of all the housing further away. I had my bicycle with me, and I said, it is moving in the direction of where I live. I think I can take a shortcut and I might be able to get ahead of the light. Raced like mad, took a shortcut, and all the time I'm looking over my right shoulder, and this object then is there. As soon as I get in front of it, I get to the house, I drop the bike at the front door, I rush through the front door into the living room. I said to my parents, you're not going to believe this, but I think there's going to be a power cut and it's caused by this light. Come out into the garden with me. My parents just look at me as if to say, you're crazy. I rush out on my own into the back garden. I then look up the house, see the object passing over the rooftop towards me, and as I get to that point there, and now it goes beyond the 90 degrees, so therefore I'm behind it, power cut entire area. How could I predict a power cut? I couldn't. What are the chances of me being able to predict, almost to the very second, that there was going to be a power cut? I went in with my parents and I said, look, I told you, and they're going, it must be a coincidence, because that's what most people do. Logically they say, I can't deal with this. So I thought, well, who do you report it to? The first people they probably think of is the police. But I mean, it's not like you pick up Yellow Pages and UFO books.
Right, who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call?